Saluton from BA. This is a Rorschach Multilateral update from the 20th of August 2024, a summary of what's going down in the world's major multilateral institutions. To kick things off, on Wednesday the 14th, 3 NATO ships worked with 2 Japanese vessels for a successful passing exercise in the eastern Mediterranean. These exercises are designed to sharpen naval acuity. The ships engaged in multiple activities such as communication drills and maneuvering practices. The activities were carried out by a unified maritime force consisting of ships from different allied nations focused on a range of tasks from joint exercises to operational assistance. NATO's operations in East Asia have been limited historically, as the alliance was primarily focused on European and North Atlantic security during the Cold War. However, in recent years, NATO has increasingly engaged with East Asian partners like Japan, South Korea, Australia, and New Zealand, primarily through cooperative dialogues and joint exercises. This shift reflects NATO's recognition of global security challenges like the rise of China, North Korean threats, and the importance of securing critical global supply chains. NATO believes that engagement in East Asia is beneficial for enhancing collective security, addressing transnational threats, and ensuring stability in a region that is crucial to the global economy and international order. Also on Wednesday the 14th, the United Nations Security Council reaffirmed its commitment to Georgia's independence and territorial integrity within recognized borders. The Council condemned Russia's 2008 invasion of Georgia, noting it marked a shift toward a more aggressive stance in Russia's regional policy. Members condemned Russia's continued violations, including its military presence and control in Abkhazia and South Ossetia, the construction of dividing barriers, and the killing of Georgian citizens by occupying forces. If you're not familiar with what's going on in Georgia, don't miss our Georgia update. You can find the link in the show notes. Further east in the Caucasus, Mazahir Panahov, chairman of Azerbaijan's Central Election Commission, stated that unreported election issues from the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe would be treated as if they do not exist. He also mentioned on Monday the 12th that more than 50,000 local observers have already registered for the parliamentary elections, with the number anticipated to surpass 90,000 after parties submit their lists. Azerbaijan's authoritarian government and its largely state-run elections have been an impediment to coordination with organizations of European countries, and findings that elections in Azerbaijan are not free are unlikely to dramatically change their relations. Moving on, the United Nations' highest court announced on Friday the 16th that it will hold public hearings starting in December in a significant case seeking an advisory opinion on states' responsibilities regarding climate change. The panel will examine 2 main issues: the obligations of nations under international law to combat climate change and the legal repercussions for governments that have failed to address it adequately. The UN General Assembly brought the case to the International Court of Justice last year, with Secretary General Antonio Guterres expressing hope that the court's opinion would push nations toward more decisive climate action. Speaking about the UN, its migration agency has intensified its support for families impacted by the devastating floods in Yemen, which began in late June and worsened through early August. The floods have claimed at least 57 lives and affected almost 35,000 families, with torrential rains ravaging Hudaida, Taiz, Marib, among other regions. This disaster has compounded Yemen's already severe humanitarian crisis, which is exacerbated by a decade-long conflict between government forces backed by a Saudi coalition and Houthi rebels. The catastrophic floods and windstorms have intensified the hardships faced by millions of Yemenis, who are already struggling with the effects of prolonged conflict, displacement, and poverty. Internally displaced individuals are especially vulnerable, as the destruction of shelters and limited access to essential services further hinder their recovery. The agency helps house the affected people and provides them with medical services. Next up, Liberia and the European Union held their 12th partnership dialogue on Tuesday the 13th. Co-chaired by Liberia's Minister of Foreign Affairs and the European Union Ambassador, the meeting highlighted Liberia's deep appreciation for the EU's ongoing support as a key development partner. The Liberian government reaffirmed its commitment to work with the EU on global challenges and sustainable development. The EU reiterated its dedication to supporting Liberia's development, emphasizing the importance of good governance and transparency in their partnership. In some health news, because of the rapid spread of the mpox virus in Africa, on Wednesday the 14th, the World Health Organization, or WHO, declared the disease a global public health emergency for the second time in 2 years. The highest case counts have been reported in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, and Uganda, though Pakistan and Sweden have also reported cases. The declaration is aimed at urging WHO member countries to enhance their preparations for the virus and to facilitate the distribution of vaccines, treatments, and essential resources to affected regions. This elevated alert level will also boost funding, research, and international collaboration to combat mpox. In his live remarks, Tedros Ghebreyesus, the WHO Director General, highlighted that while mpox has been known in the Democratic Republic of Congo for over a decade, recent outbreaks throughout the continent have resulted in over 500 deaths and more than 14,000 cases. On Sunday the 18th, President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa reported that cases of monkeypox have been recorded across 13 African Union countries. In Asia, Dr. Geeta Gopinath, the Deputy Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, was optimistic about India emerging as the third largest global economy by 2027. She noted that India's economic performance late fiscal year exceeded predictions, leading to more favorable forecasts. Gopinath highlighted a notable recovery in private consumption, which is set to surpass last year's 4% growth rate, driven by increased spending in rural areas. Rising sales in two-wheelers and fast-moving consumer goods supported this upturn. Across the Atlantic, the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, or ECLAC, based in Santiago de Chile, published its 2024 economic survey, revealing significant concerns about the region's economic performance. The report highlights weak investment, stagnant labor productivity, and limited fiscal capacity, labeling the situation a low economic growth trap. The ECLAC projects modest economic growth rates of almost 2% for this year and just over 2% for 2025. The report also addresses issues such as climate change, employment challenges, and the lack of domestic fiscal flexibility to implement economic recovery policies amidst global uncertainty. In other news, on Monday the 12th, a UN report highlighted the rising number of educated young people who are neither studying, employed, nor receiving training. The report of the International Labour Organization, or ILO, points to alarming rates of joblessness among young people in the Middle East and North Africa. Despite being the most educated generation ever, many youths in the region struggle with slow job growth rates and a shortage of quality work opportunities. And to close this edition, TCL Technology and TCL Industries have officially joined the United Nations Global Compact, the foremost global initiative for corporate sustainability. The UN organization, which includes over 23,000 businesses and stakeholders from more than 160 countries, focuses on advancing sustainable development through ethical corporate practices. In its commitment letter to the UN, TCL has pledged to integrate the UN Global Compact principles into its strategic planning, corporate ethos, and daily operations. And that's it for this week. Thank you for joining us. Before we leave, did you know that if you're listening to us on Spotify, you can leave comments or questions in the episode? There's a comment box right there. The comments are private by default, and we won't publish them. If you want us to get back to you, share your email so we can contact you back. We'd love to hear from you. Put something in there. Go crazy. See you next week.